It is almost 12:30 on day 81. I just got dropped off from Chad back at the Little Crater Lake Campground and Trailhead, going back to trail. So the last 2 days we spent at trail days, just having a nice relaxing time. Trail days was 16th and 17th. The 16th we barely spent any time at trail days, only an hour, but actually spent most of our day just exploring the area and then driving the historic Columbia Gorge or Columbia River. I forget if it's Columbia Gorge or Columbia River Highway, where there's a lot of waterfalls and just a lot of scenery. And then yesterday we spent like 6 or 7 hours at trail days, which is really nice. You know, they have all the vendors. If you're ever looking for a sale on gear, PCT is where to go. You know, I didn't need any gear, but like Thermarest was 50% off, you know, and lighting equipment was 30% off, things like that. I did get a Jolly Gear shirt for Chad to bring home for use in the future, and he got one too. It's just a company that's based out of Draper in Utah, so that was really cool. But otherwise just hung out. We didn't win any raffle prizes, unfortunately, but I saw Milkman and Rocket very, very, very briefly. Only saw them for like 10 or 15 minutes because I did spend several hours hanging out with Emily and Isabel, and then saw me and Soren as well. So it was great to catch up with them and hang out with them. And then this morning was a relaxing day, and then driving back to trail from Cascade Locks. Okay, so it was an hour and a half drive from where we were in Cascade Locks to this trailhead. So Chad just dropped me off, and he's going to drive to the airport to fly home. And we're hoping the remaining miles only have about 2 to 3 weeks left. So I'll be able to hopefully be home in time for his birthday mid-September. Not really any significant changes to my gear. I got this pouch. It is currently empty until I figure out what I want to do with it. But it's from a brand called Chicken Tramper. This was one of their old versions, so it was significantly discounted at trail days. And it's a waterproof pouch, so I can put my phone in there, because currently I keep my phone in my fanny pack, which is water resistant but not waterproof. And so I figured, you know, even not for using it for this trail, but you know, when I'm back home I can put it on my day pack and just have a nice waterproof pouch. So I'll see what I end up using it for on this trail. What else? I changed out my shorts. So I used to have solid black shorts. I have these Adidas ones with racer stripes. The solid black ones are working, and I didn't want to ruin a pair of shorts by switching a pair of shorts for the last couple weeks. But the other ones don't have a tie, and as I've been losing weight, they've been getting bigger and a little bit loose. And then they have a zipper on the back, which again, as I've been losing weight, that zipper's become more prominent and starting to rub more on my backpack, and then just the whole waistband in general is becoming uncomfortable. Probably not the shorts. I mean, it's not the shorts issue, it's me losing weight and just losing comfort with the backpack. But I had Chad brought these shorts for me to have at trail days, and just testing these out to see ultimately if they're a little bit more comfortable for the last couple weeks as I hike. I also have a calf sleeve and then an ankle brace. So as you know, I don't know if I ever showed a picture, so I can show one, but my ankle did get pretty swollen coming here like 3 days ago. Is pretty swollen. I never rolled my ankle. I predict it's just from overuse. And the swelling did go down significantly, so I've been doing icing, Epsom salt soaks, obviously resting. My ankle was barely swollen, but still slightly swollen this morning, but significantly improved. Pain is improved, and so I still don't believe there was any injury beyond overwork and overuse. So with a calf sleeve, which I have the other one in my backpack if my left calf starts hurting, but the calf sleeve and the ankle brace, hoping to keep pain to a minimum. And then also the last week before trail days, I used to prove myself. Also, just look how lush and green this is, so pretty. But I used the last week before trail days to really prove myself what I'm capable of and what I can do. And that was for myself, for the logistical aspect of trail days, but for myself to kind of find limits and just again prove myself what I can do. But now that I know that, and I also know what that ultimately causes to my legs if I push that hard and fast, I'm gonna take it easier. I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna try to follow through. The hard thing is, once I know what I can do, sometimes it's hard to hold myself back. My goal is to do 25 to 30 mile days here on out and not really push above 30, unless there's a really significant need in terms of camping or water availability or something like that. My hope is to just do 25 to 30 mile days moving forward, where it's comfortable, where I can get to camp by 7 and have a relaxing evening and not just feel like I'm just hiking from the moment I wake up to when I go to sleep. That's kind of my goal, and we'll see if I can follow through on that, because I do think doing that, where I can get to camp earlier and doing less miles, feeling less on a time constraint throughout the day, in order to make the large miles, will help me, one, prevent my ankle and shin from getting worse, but also help me enjoy as I finish up the trail. I have gone about 4 miles so far, and I don't want to jinx it, but so far my legs are feeling great. I've gone about 800 feet uphill climbing, so not a lot, but anyways, feeling great, feeling strong. I'm gonna go slightly less than another 12 miles to get to the next water source, just to continue jabbering on. While I was in Crater Lakes, or I keep saying Crater Lakes, while I was in Cascade Locks, I looked into Washington. Now, Crater Lakes at 2150 and the trail ends at 2650. So 500 miles roughly is what Washington is. Now there are many fires in Washington that are making it so most of the hikers are only going to be able to hike about 200 to 250 miles in Washington. I did the math this morning before I left, and it was like, I forget the exact numbers now, but from where I got dropped back off, which was 70 miles from south of Cascade Locks, I roughly will get about 370 to 380 miles left. So I'll get to hike about 300 miles of those 500 in Washington. Most of the hikers from Cascade Locks are not hiking north. Cascade Locks has Bridge of the Gods, which is the border between Oregon and Washington. Most hikers are not walking north out of Cascade Locks, but are skipping ahead over 100, I think like 150, 100 something miles, because of a fire. Because of, it's hard. It's not directly closed. It's not closed directly north of Cascade Locks, but walking north and then getting off trail, it's hard to find someone to pick you up and drive you north around the closure. But fortunately, I did manage to find a trail angel while I was in Cascade Locks, that I messaged, that would be willing to pick me up north of Cascade Locks. So depending how fast I go based on my ankle, I'll be able to hike about, I think it was like 75 miles north out of Cascade Locks, get picked up and get dropped off around the fire closure, but even more south than most hikers are. So not only will I get to experience walking out of Cascade Locks, but the plan is that I will also get to experience Goat Rocks Wilderness, which is, from what I've heard, one of the prettiest parts of Washington. So all that to say, anyways, I have less than 400 miles left of trail that I will be able to walk, which is, you know, as I was mentioning before trail days, I am ready to be done. I have better morale now. And I have a plan to, not hurt myself, to enjoy the trail more, etc. But I am ready to go back home and see my dogs and cats and just be home in the luxuries of living in a house and not on trail. But having less than 400 miles left to hike is also quite sad. I've been living this way for today's day 81, and so it's hard to imagine going back to real life and not doing this. The responsibilities of a job, I'm not looking forward to that, and also the chaos that is real life compared to hiking, not looking forward to that. So I'm just trying to soak up all this time left that I have, which should be around 2 to 3 weeks left, unfortunately. The clouds are blocking it, but right there is Mount Hood. We were closer to it when Chad picked me up. We went to Timberline Lodge, which is near the base of it. I think the southern side of it. But anyways, here's hoping the clouds clear up at some point so we get a better view. But for now, we have this beautiful mossy trail. This is the road, if I made it 11.7 miles on my last day, that Chad would have picked me up from. So I think that means I'm like 10 miles away from Timberline Lodge. It's about 4:15, and I'm just taking a short break. I'm elevating my feet. My ankle and my shin's feeling great. Ankle, I'm starting to feel like a level 1 to 2 pain. So really, I'm starting to feel that it doesn't feel normal. It's not really hurting. Extension is feeling good. So in neutral, I'm just level 1 to 2. If I extend, I'm like a level 2. If I flex, that's like a level 3. So the pain, is worsening while hiking, which is not shocking. But my goal is to keep it manageable so that I can finish this hike. But so far I've done 11.3 miles and have 4.4 left to go. So less than an hour and a half of hiking, 800 feet of climbing. So pretty easy, chill day, as I wanted. Originally I was going to treat this as a narrow and not really hike many miles at all today, but I'm an impatient person, if you haven't realized that by now. So here we are hiking almost 16 miles. And then again, my goal is to keep it around 25, or definitely less than 30, between 25 and 30 for the rest of the trail. Ideally close to 25. As long as my ankle feels good. But I'm going to sit here, have some chips, and relax. Made it 15.7 miles to my campsite. This is my campsite. And then there's water right down there. Might be a little bit of pool where I can soak my feet a little bit further down. It is 6 o'clock. There's no one else here. I've not seen any no-boat today. I've seen about 5 to 8 southbounders. There's another tent site right on the other side of the creek, but that's a little bit more slanted, where this one's flat. There are a couple dead trees, but no big branches at least. And they look pretty sturdy is what I'm going to tell myself at least. It's not supposed to storm tonight. It's actually not supposed to rain for the next 4 days according to my Garmin. So I'm gonna set up tent and relax, but I'm feeling excited to be back on trail. My feet are happy. We're back in some Hokas, got rid of the Ultras, so back in the Hokas. My feet are feeling great, and I'm ready. I'm excited to be in the home stretch and finish strong, and if not strongly, at least with a better attitude. Good morning from 6:30 on day 82. I let myself sleep in a little bit. I woke up sometime early morning, somewhere around 3 or 4, and decided that I wanted to sleep in a little bit, and that plan to get started at 6:30 sounded like a good time, so I changed my alarm a little bit later. Feeling great this morning. It's a little chilly, but not really. I can wear my shorts. Honestly, I don't need to be hiking in my sweatshirt. I'll probably get hot, but in about 2.5 miles, we'll be up and exposed at higher elevation on Mount Hood, and so I was feeling lazy and decided just to leave my sweatshirt on till then. The goal today is around maximum 27 miles, and it just depends how I'm feeling. If my ankle's feeling great, I'll do the 27 miles. If my ankle starts hurting, there's a campsite around 24 miles, so I'll just do what feels good, and also what gets me to camp before 7, because that is making me happy, and that's what I'm all about right now. But we're still in the green forest. I've never been in rainforest, never been in Washington, but I imagine this is an early glimpse of what it will be like. Also, I did the math, and from camp last night to Cascade Locks, and including the miles that at this point I plan to hike in Washington, I have a total of 358.1 miles left. If you include the 2 known side trails I'm gonna do, which is one is a side trail back to the PCT where I get back on after fire closure, and then one is the 9 miles from the northern border into Canada. That would be a total of 371.6 miles, so not too many miles left. If I do an average of 25 miles a day, which, knowing me and as long as I feel good, I'll do more, that's like 14.8 days. If I do like 27 or 28 days, it's like 13 days. So anyway, for 27 or 28 miles, it's like 13 days. So anyways, about 2 weeks left, give or take a couple days for resting, whatever, transit around fire closures, but definitely less than 400 miles left. Mount Hood is peeking out from behind the clouds. This is the backside of Timberline Lodge. Chad and I came here the day I got off the trail on Thursday for the lunch buffet, so I'm not here to eat, but this is where Shining was partly filmed, and apparently there is a replica of the axe here, and we didn't get to see it last time, so I'm coming to take a picture for Chad. There's a mountain way off in the distance there. I don't know if is Mount Jefferson. I think so, maybe Mount Shasta, but I feel like it's Jefferson. And I'm not sure if that's a lake or like a glacier or just cloud settling. No idea, but it's really pretty. I'm taking the Blue Blaze to see Ramona Falls. Blue Blaze is similar in meaning to a side trail. It's essentially a trail that is not officially the PCT, which is the red line. But people comment that it's worth taking the Blue Blaze to see Ramona Falls and that it doesn't add any extra miles because it loops back to the PCT. So I will follow those people's advice. Ramona Falls was definitely worth the detour and ended up adding like 0.2 miles extra by the time I get back to the PCT. But that was pretty cool waterfall, so I will take it. And you know, my hope moving forward is that I only have 2 weeks left, but that I don't do enough miles or hurt myself where the idea of doing 0.2 extra miles to see something cool like that is a turnoff. So anyways, back to hiking. Another hour and a half or so before I will stop for a long lunch. It is 1 o'clock and I'm stopping for a lunch for an hour and a half or 2 hours. I've had a very, very slow morning. I've only done 17 miles today. It has included 4,000 feet of climbing, but that also means I only have 9.8 miles left to do today. So I'm gonna relax for a while, and then I'll finish off the day. I ended up getting up from lunch after only about an hour, 10 minutes. I'd planned to sit longer, but honestly, it was just getting too cold. I had my sweatshirt and pants and rain jacket on, and I was still shivering, and so I figured I might as well warm myself up by hiking until I can get to camp and get in my tent. But I'm hoping this won't be the trend for the rest of the trail, but if it is, you know, I will deal. So this is the first time that I've had headphones on trail. Most people, there's a mix of wireless and wired headphones that people use on trail. I just not a big listener to podcasts, music, things like audiobooks and things like that, so I never thought I'd want them. But this late into the hike, I'm getting bored of entertaining myself with my own thoughts. And you know, with only 2 to 3 weeks left, I asked Chad to bring my headphones from home because, you know, they are wireless, so it's one more thing to charge, but for a couple weeks I can handle that. Anyways, this last hour and a half was my first time using headphones on trail. Just one in so that I can still have the other ear to listen to things, and I can honestly say it made the hour and a half and the miles fly by so much faster. Also, I'm about to get to camp, but it looks like other people are there. But anyways, it'll be 27.2 miles. I'm feeling good. My ankle definitely isn't normal, but I would say I'm at a solid 75%, and that's something that I can maintain for the rest of the trail. So I'm gonna hang out, meet some new people, and rest to do it all again tomorrow.